justice? Or will this courtroom prove that the law treats every citizen the same, no matter fame?
Stop. Just stop right there. Judge Caprio's voice cuts through the Providence Municipal Court like a blade. The gavel drops from his hand. His eyes lock onto the defendant. The courtroom freezes. Do you know who you are?
Imagine handling simple cases, then realizing the man before you is a world-famous actor. The courtroom transforms instantly. The judge's sharp inquiry cuts deep citizen or star-seeking privilege. Everyone holds their breath. What matters most now? The truth behind the name or the equality of justice itself?
The question hangs in the air. The man in the defendant's chair shifts uncomfortably. Camera phones start recording. This isn't supposed to happen. Not here. Not now. But Judge Caprio has just recognized someone who could change everything. The bailiff steps forward, confused. The prosecutor looks up from her papers. The defendant's lawyer stops mid-sentence. And in that moment of absolute silence, Judge Caprio leans forward and asks the question that will make...
Revealing his legal name, the actor blurs lines between identity and fame. Judge Caprio isn't convinced yet. Misrepresentation in court carries serious weight. This wasn't Hollywood, it was real accountability. Fame, cameras, and stage names fade. What matters now is honesty. Integrity, not celebrity, would decide his fate here.
Make headlines around the world. But nobody knew what was coming next. How did a routine traffic violation hearing in Providence, Rhode Island, become the most watched courtroom video of the year? The answer lies in what happened when Judge Frank Caprio looked across his courtroom and saw not just another defendant, but someone whose face had graced movie screens across America for decades. This is the story of the day Judge Caprio's court became Hollywood. Subscribe now because what you're about to see has never been captured on camera before. It started like any other Tuesday morning in Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio took his seat behind the bench at exactly 9 a.m., just as he had done for over 3 decades. The docket was full: parking tickets, speeding violations, the usual parade of minor infractions that keep municipal courts busy across America. The first case was called parking violation, dismissed with a warning. The second case, a red light camera.
Judge Caprio asked a defining question. Are you here as a man who made a mistake or as a movie star expecting privilege? That single question stripped away glamour and exposed reality. Could this courtroom truly show the world that justice remains blind, even when fame steps inside?
Ticket. Fine reduced by half. Judge Caprio moved through the morning's cases with his characteristic blend of wisdom and compassion, each decision revealing why he had become not just Providence's most beloved judge, but a viral sensation whose courtroom videos had been viewed millions of times worldwide. But nobody in that courtroom knew that the third case would change everything. Next case, announced the clerk. Roberto Martinez. Failure to stop at a stop sign. The man who approached the defendant's chair looked ordinary enough. Mid-50s, wearing a simple polo shirt and jeans. Nothing to suggest he was anything other than another Providence resident caught by a traffic camera. He sat down quietly, almost nervously, avoiding eye contact with the gallery behind him. Judge Caprio glanced at the paperwork. Standard violation. Clear video evidence. This should take 3 minutes. He looked up at the defendant and froze. But what Judge Caprio saw next would shock not just the courtroom, but millions of viewers around the world. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, Judge Caprio simply stared. His experienced eyes, trained by decades of reading.
When he mentioned rushing his daughter to school, the tone shifted. Suddenly, the Hollywood star became just a father. The gallery laughed when his daughter called his movies cringe. Humor softened the room, but justice still waited. The question remained, would family duty excuse ignoring traffic laws?
Faces and detecting deception were processing something that didn't make sense. The face before him was familiar. Not just familiar, iconic. Excuse me, Judge Caprio said slowly, his voice carrying a note of disbelief. Can you state your full name for the record? Roberto Antonio Martinez, the defendant replied, his voice carrying just a hint of the accent that had made him famous in dozens of Hollywood blockbusters. The courtroom was silent. The defendant's lawyer looked puzzled. The prosecutor continued shuffling papers, oblivious to what was unfolding. But Judge Caprio's mind was racing. The face, the voice, the subtle mannerisms, everything clicked into place with startling clarity. "Sir," Judge Caprio said, leaning forward slightly, Are you Anthony Rodriguez?" The question hit the courtroom like lightning. Anthony Rodriguez, the Hollywood action star whose films had grossed over $2 billion worldwide. The man who had played everything from military heroes to romantic leads. The actor whose face was instantly recognizable to anyone who had been to a movie theater in the past 20 years.
Judge Caprio's brilliance showed. "If I dismiss this because you're a star, what would you say?" The actor's reply stunned everyone. He wanted no privilege. Equal accountability mattered most. That humility contrasted sharply with fame's usual arrogance. For once, justice wasn't distorted by celebrity, it was reinforced by integrity.
The defendant shifted uncomfortably in his chair. "Your Honor, Oh my God!" whispered someone in the gallery. Camera phones started appearing. The bailiff moved closer, sensing the shift in energy. But Anthony Rodriguez, if that's who this really was, looked nothing like the confident, charismatic figure moviegoers knew. He looked tired, older, almost fragile. This wasn't the man who had starred opposite Julia Roberts and commanded $20 million per film. Judge Caprio set down his pen and studied the man before him with the intensity that had made him legendary in Providence legal circles. What came next would either expose an incredible coincidence or reveal one of Hollywood's biggest stars caught in a...
Judge Caprio reflected. He'd faced bribes and pressure, but never a plea for accountability. The actor's stance redefined fairness. In a world of privilege, this moment became a lesson: justice applied equally is justice respected. The courtroom transformed into a classroom of integrity, teaching fairness beyond textbooks and speeches.
Lie. "Mr. Martinez," Judge Caprio said carefully, "or should I say Mr. Rodriguez, I need you to be completely honest with me. Are you the Anthony Rodriguez who starred in Night Storm and Desert Eagle?" The courtroom held its breath. Even the court reporter stopped typing. Anthony Rodriguez, because that's clearly who this was, closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his shoulders sagged slightly in what looked like resignation. "Yes, Your Honor, I am." The admission sent a shock wave through the gallery. Murmurs erupted immediately. The bailiff raised his hand for quiet, but you could feel the electricity in the air. Judge Caprio removed his glasses and cleaned them slowly, a gesture those familiar with his courtroom knew meant he was processing something significant. "Mr. Rodriguez," he said.
Tears came when Judge Caprio praised his character. This wasn't about fines, it was about dignity. For once, the man who played heroes on screen became one in reality. Viewers saw more than law. They saw hope. Fame didn't define him, humility did. Justice wasn't weakened, it was humanized beautifully.
Said finally, "Help me understand something. You're here under the name Roberto Martinez, but you just admitted you're Anthony Rodriguez. That troubles me." The actor's lawyer, a young public defender who had clearly not been briefed on his client's real identity, looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. "Your Honor," Anthony Rodriguez said, his voice gaining strength, "Roberto Martinez is my legal name. Anthony Rodriguez is my stage name. I've never tried to hide who I am, but I also don't announce it when I'm just trying to live my life." It was a reasonable explanation, but Judge Caprio wasn't finished. "Mr. Rodriguez, you understand that using false documentation or misrepresenting your identity to a court is a serious matter? I understand that..."
The reduced fine wasn't favoritism. It was mercy for honesty. Judge Caprio made it clear. This decision was for Roberto, the father, not Anthony, the star. In an age where wealth often buys freedom, this was different. Humility earned leniency. Accountability mattered more than status, wealth, or Hollywood image.
"Your Honor, but I wasn't misrepresenting anything. My driver's license, my registration, everything is under Roberto Martinez because that's my birth name." Judge Caprio studied the documentation in front of him. Sure enough, everything checked out. Roberto Antonio Martinez was indeed Anthony Rodriguez's legal name, something that wasn't widely known even among his fans. But what Judge Caprio said next would reveal why he was more than just another municipal court judge. "Mr. Rodriguez," Judge Caprio said, his tone shifting to something warmer, more personal. "I've been on this bench for 32 years. I've seen wealthy people try to use their status to avoid consequences, and I've seen poor people get crushed by a system that doesn't care about."
His $50,000 donation turned a simple violation into community impact. This wasn't publicity, it was responsibility. The fine transformed into help for those struggling with justice costs. Fame brought attention, but character built legacy. A minor case became a story about giving back, proving accountability can ripple far beyond
their circumstances. What I want to know is this. Are you here as Roberto Martinez, the regular citizen who made a mistake, or as Anthony Rodriguez, the movie star who thinks his fame should get him special treatment? The question cut to the heart of everything. This wasn't about a stop sign violation anymore. This was about character, integrity, and how power and fame corrupt or reveal a person's true nature. Anthony Rodriguez met Judge Caprio's gaze directly for the first time since entering the courtroom. "Your Honor, I'm here as Roberto Martinez. I ran a stop sign in my neighborhood because I was rushing to get my daughter to school. I wasn't being careful, and I deserve whatever consequence comes with that. I don't want special treatment because of what I do for a living." Judge Caprio nodded slowly. "And what do you do for a living, Mr. Martinez?"
A Hollywood star stood equal before the law and passed the test with honesty. Judge Caprio proved fairness isn't about power. It's about principle. Was justice served? Should fame matter in court? Share your thoughts. Like this video. And subscribe for more gripping courtroom breakdowns that reveal true justice.
"I'm an actor, Your Honor. A successful one, I imagine? I've been fortunate, yes, sir. Fortunate enough that a $100 fine wouldn't cause you financial hardship? No, sir, it wouldn't. The exchange was remarkable. Here was one of Hollywood's biggest stars being questioned by a municipal court judge like any other defendant. No special treatment, no celebrity privilege. Just the law applied equally to everyone. Subscribe to our channel right now and hit that notification bell because what Judge Caprio does next will restore your faith in the justice system." Judge Caprio opened the case file again and studied the traffic camera footage. The violation was clear, a rolling stop at a four-way intersection during school hours. Technically